On to the Grand Floral Parade. It's what's on everyone's mind tonight. And one of the issues surrounding tomorrow's big parade is people assuming ownership of public sidewalk space along the route. And it's turned into a near tape war out there tonight. Koin News 6 reporter Cor Harlan live in Northeast Portland with more. Cor?
Right, Kelly, you know, City Commissioner Randy Leonard has raised that issue this week, and that being that the people that come out here and put tape on the sidewalk suddenly feel entitled to some ownership of a particular part of the sidewalk. And some people who oppose that type of an arrangement there took out on the streets of Northeast Portland tonight to tear the tape up.
Basically, all we're trying to get across tonight is just to prove a point.
The point they're trying to make is that just because you've taped off an area of the parade route, sometimes a week in advance this year, doesn't mean you own the sidewalk, and it doesn't necessarily mean your space should be there when you arrive Saturday morning. For nearly 100 people organized informally through the pages of the Portland Mercury newspaper, that means tearing away tape that's been in place for several days in an effort to turn the parade over to people who want to come down the night before the parade and get a spot.
Well, I think it's important for families to be able to come down and get a seat at the parade instead of people who came down here for a week in advance and try to tape it off. I'd rather come down with my kids and try to find our own little spot.
It's like if you go to the DMV or the bank, you don't get to take your spot off in advance and then come back the next day. It's ridiculous. So we feel like you should be able to, you know, watch the parade from where you want to watch it if you've shown up and you've earned your spot. And that's all we're trying to say.
And so, armed with trash bags, they pulled up every bit of tape they could find along Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in front of the convention center that didn't have people sitting in it. Not everyone, however, along the parade route who was out here this evening agreed with the idea of pulling up the tape.
I was born and raised in Portland. I've been here 64 years, and it's been a tradition to come down and camp out and enjoy yourself and get along and meet people and all that stuff. And they don't have any right to come along and say that they know better than the rest of us.
Now, some of the, we looked on Craigslist earlier today, and some of these parade spots in the downtown area were actually being sold on Craigslist for up to $75 for two people just to sit on a so-called reserved piece of public sidewalk. Kelly, as you can probably see behind me here, this 12 o'clock rule for putting the chairs down, it's kind of gone by the wayside. The chairs, lots of people with tents, campers, cars, coolers, and all of the rest have been out here for several hours. It's a pretty well-maintained crowd, and everybody's having a good time out here. But it may be in part as a result of this tape issue here. A lot of people may have come down here early just to claim their spots. And a final note here, Kelly, if nobody, any of you I'm talking to at home tonight, don't have a spot for the parade, I'm told the Memorial Coliseum still has some tickets if you'd like to get a look at the floats as they pull out of the Coliseum and onto the parade route. We're live in Northeast Portland tonight. Cor Harlan, Koin News 6. Kelly?
Yeah, and I know they were suggesting people not put their chairs down until midnight tonight, so that, you know, we're still an hour away. But do you see any police officers out there? Is anyone really enforcing that or patrolling?
I think the police are pretty content that the crowd is very calm. These are parade people, after all. These are not rioters and all the rest of that. So they're just keeping people out of the street, making sure the sidewalks and the streets are clear. But no, they're really not enforcing the rule here to keep the chairs out. And frankly, you know, in some respects, being out here for a couple hours, I don't see any real need to, because everything's pretty calm and orderly. Even the people with tents who are parked in the middle of the sidewalk here are actually being pretty orderly. So
they're just having some fun out there tonight.
Having a good time.
All right. Thank you, Cor Harlan, live tonight in Northeast Portland.